Hello, everyone. I hope you all are well today. I did think I hear, as a former Sooner myself, I think I heard somebody talking earlier and some weather in the background. So hope things are cool and kosher there and you don't have any mega storms today. Is my screen showing? There we go. User error. I didn't press the right button. Okay. So I'm honored to be here today, and I'm going to cover starting simple with accessibility. I'm Jen Smith, she, her. I'm from Microsoft. And quick description of me: white, middle-aged woman, long brownish, grayish hair. It's straight. I have glasses with dark frames, oval face, rosy cheeks. And today I'm wearing kind of a gray, I don't know, fleece kind of a shirt thing. And I'm in a room with white walls behind me and some light wooden doors in the background. So as my journey in digital accessibility, it's kind of meandered through 15 plus years. I've been to large and small companies, public and private. I've been a one-person shop and working on entire teams dedicated on accessibility like I do now. And I did get my start in Oklahoma, what is now called the Oklahoma College Assistance Program as part of the state regents. Hi, Erin, if you're out there. And it's been a long and meandering path. And the common thread that I found through all of it is what I'm going to share highlights of today. So because even though the topic is accessibility, in general, the industry can sometimes be really inaccessible to people starting out because of high barrier to entry, like jargon or knowledge, tools, simple resources. So my aim here today is to give you simple and practical steps to help kind of guide you on your journey, lower the barrier to entry. And if you aren't new, then hopefully this can help you scale your accessibility work if that's more applicable. So I also want to talk about some of the misconceptions, like it's too complex, too hard. But once you kind of begin with some basics, like Dennis was saying, you start to see themes and realize that you really can start simple. There's learnable and repeatable techniques that are really easy to incorporate and scale across your development life cycle. So the agenda, I'll talk about the starting line, orienting yourself, giving you some simple steps to test for accessibility, highlight prioritizing fixing before verification, then quickly wrap it up with reminders and resources. And as a quick plug, I'm partnering with two other wonderful accessibility mavens, Natalie Patrice Tucker from Spotify and Lori Samuels of NBC Universal, to give a longer session on this at Microsoft's Free Ability Summit in May. So when you get started, the first step is often the most difficult, whether it's emotionally or as you're embracing the growth mindset and going into a place where you don't know everything. So you'll find when you test for accessibility, probably what you're making sucks in the beginning, and it wasn't created in a way that can adapt to people and their needs, abilities, or disabilities. And that feeling can really overwhelm you. It can confuse you, leave you feeling like there's too much to do, you're confused about where to start. But the good news is that it gets better. And if you ask any accessibility practitioners, we can all testify that you'll gain confidence, you'll gain understanding as you practice and you get feedback. Also know you're not alone. There's tons of us out here to guide you, share our experiences, help you on your journey. And remember that you can improve things. It'll come incrementally and gradually, but things do improve. So the simple steps, when we'll kick off with this first item of like, how do you audit and test in a scoped way? And then I'll quickly talk about like prioritizing, fixing, and verifying. The page here features a circular graphic to show you the iterative process, and know that you'll want to start testing with a small scope of your experience. Think of the most visited pages or maybe the top tasks people complete in your experience. And you start there instead of evaluating like your entire 100, 200 page site. Then you'll test the simple steps I'll cover next. And after that, you'll prioritize the issues, then you'll fix them, and finally verify before you start over the circle again with newer and wider scope of testing. So with a host of guidelines, WCAG, 508, et cetera, understanding all of these, navigating the gray areas, taking it all, it feels like you have to boil the ocean, really. But these are 4 simple testing steps to help you catch the biggest and most common issues encountered. And you don't need an ocean-sized hot plate at your disposal. So step 1, you want to validate your code, ensure the markup is semantic. I mean, I think Dennis's presentation about Easy Chirp shows you how wonderful and how far semantics can take you. Next, you'll want to use Keyboard to navigate and complete all your tasks. I just realized I got these out of order a little bit. Third step is to run accessibility insights and fix FastPass issues, or whatever automated tool is your favorite. And then the last one is do some stress testing, if you will, high contrast mode, zoom, and audio. So understanding validation. When you validate your code, you want to tweak issues found with like a markup validator, any kind of linter or dev tools. So know that the code is really the foundation of the experience. It's what assistive technologies use to parse the information for humans. So whether you're using like W3C's HTML validator or like maybe other dev tools or linters, they can help ensure proper structure and foundation. And to kind of deepen your understanding, we can take a look under the hood. So the diagram here illustrates how code, and in this case, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, it all comes together and it builds the DOM tree. And DOM stands for Document Object Model. The DOM is read and modified by JavaScript. And all of these with your CSS and data render the visual interface and create the accessibility tree, which is the second data structure. And the accessibility tree here contains the information, elements, everything the accessibility API uses for assistive technologies like screen readers, switches, Braille output, others. And those assistive technologies then communicate information to the user. So while it's not essential to commit this to memory, what it shows is really the importance of your code structure. And the structure is what creates this parallel and programmatic experience for assistive technology that needs to align then with this visual rendered experience. Next, understanding keyboard. You want to navigate your experience with just a keyboard by itself. Your first key to learn is the tab key, and that'll navigate you through interactive elements, not through static content, but interactive elements. And when you do this, you should start at the top of the view, see a visible focus indicator around each element as you move keyboard focus through, you tab through links, buttons, inputs, any kind of interactive control. And you should check that all the controls can either be reached with a keyboard and that nothing is only available using mouse. There's a lot of fancy hover effects or information that comes up when you hover with a mouse. And if that's not available with a keyboard, you've locked people out of experiencing that. Also, as you navigate through, you'll want to make sure your keyboard focus doesn't get stuck on a control. And last but not least, you want the order of the focus to once again parallel that reading order of the page visually so that the context in the meeting is the same. Again, this is where you can notice, like I said, that parallel in the backend structure with the rendered visual experience. And if you haven't done this before, there's a link in the resources section to a WebAIM article, and it can be a really helpful resource to understand interaction kind of beyond the tab key as you grow and practice this over time. The next step, I'm going to cover one of my all-time favorite tools, Accessibility Insights. It runs on the Axe toolset from Deque. It's a browser plugin, desktop tool. It's open source. They even now have it for Android apps. And the automated test can find 20 to 30% of accessibility issues, like missing alt text. It can't tell you if alt text is right, but it can tell you if it's missing. Color contrast, empty elements, missing language attributes. So then there's other tools in there like ad hoc tools. You can display structural elements like headings and landmarks without having to look into the code. And then there's an assessment tool that as you again practice and level up, you can get the steps to walk through elements of testing manually. And if I'd had this at the beginning of my accessibility journey, it totally would have helped me deeply understand the issues I was trying to fix, give me a lot of different options to fix, and then learning and understanding how they impact my customers. I added a demo site to this and the link to Accessibility Insights to help you if you want to play around with the tool. If I had more time, I would demo it for you. And the last step, again, is stress testing for some experiences where people might zoom in, adjust contrast, or can't perceive audio. So in your browser, you'd want to zoom in and see if content and functionality disappears or obscures. The ideal experience is that content will reflow as you zoom in, so people don't have to scroll up and down, left and right to read and interact with your content. So here, using responsive design can really help reflow the experience as people zoom into 200, 400%, or even larger. And it creates this robust experience that can really adapt with people as they grow and fit their needs. So some examples of things that I've seen in the past that kind of get close but miss the mark a little bit. There's a site. Yep, it uses responsive design to reflow, but at 200% zoom or even higher, the functionality to print is gone, because people assumed, who were designing the site, that the larger the view, or actually the smaller the view technically, that means they're on mobile and they don't need to print. I think that day and age is gone. People print from their mobile devices now. So don't assume that a zoomed in or a small viewport means that somebody is on a mobile device. You'll want to keep all that functionality and keep that content, and you'll want to make sure that the text wraps so it's readable and that it doesn't overlap or get cut off or truncated to the point where it's unintelligible. The next element for high contrast, it's an operating system setting. It can help people adjust the view to ease eye strain or kind of help with light sensitivity. And it adjusts the display of the interface to use a really limited set of colors. In Windows, it's ease of access settings. And there's high contrast mode with 4 preset options. And you can test your experience by turning on these settings and ensuring that content like buttons, interactive controls, text, they adjust with the settings and that they don't disappear. And another experience to kind of stress test for is turning off audio to make sure that any information conveyed with audio alone has a text alternative. And it could be captions for videos or text alerts that align with audio alerts, let's say in an error for a form. So now what? You've tested, you found a bunch of accessibility problems in your pages. Now what? Now we prioritize, and we start with the issues that have the highest user impact and the lowest effort to fix. And there's 2 intersecting circles here on the page indicating overlapping areas, and it gives you a specific set of items to focus on at the beginning. So while it won't cover everything where this high user impact and low effort to fix overlap, the blended approach helps you start, and it helps you start rolling out real changes for your users. There's also a chart on this page from WebAIM's 1 million homepage testing, and it shows the most common web content accessibility guideline failures, and that's WCAG. Color contrast, missing alt text, link text and form field labels also missing, empty buttons. So you can prioritize this and some other easy things like page language to fix and roll out quickly. And then keyboard is another thing that you'll want to definitely take a look at. That's one of the most important things. So once you have your prioritized list, you've reached this fixed stage. So without references, you can end up feeling like this cartoon Sasquatch here with a bat and a printer, and the Sasquatch has definitely beat the crap out of the printer. But there's resources. I've got some at the end of this deck that'll give you some beginner tools to reference as you go. And if you couple that with Accessibility Insights guidance, you can take care of that prioritized list. And in the words of one brilliant Laurie Samuels, understand accessibility is a practice, and we just get better over time if we keep practicing. Okay, so now we're at the and verify. Oh my, once you have a fix in place, you'll want to repeat this testing steps on updated experiences to verify the work. Then you'll add a step to check with the screen reader. This will be another key thing to add to as your practice grows. And then customer feedback and engagement is another key part of verification. So note about adding a screen reader before I run out of time. I did want to share basic concepts of introducing a screen reader. So the keyboard and screen reader work together in concert, and they help you access all your content, controls, anything presented visually. Again, this is where the meeting and the interaction order needs to parallel one another. Learning some basic commands like the ones provided in the link I have here to NVDA shortcuts can help you check the experience and that it's consistent, it's clear to navigate, and that there's no visually hidden content being announced. Some of the most common combinations of screen readers and browsers are like Chrome and NVDA for Windows, Safari and VoiceOver for Mac and iOS, and for Android, you'll want to use TalkBack. But don't let these pieces overwhelm you. Like, know that a lot of the issues covered here, these steps are agnostic to screen reader and browser systems. If you add image text, if you have semantic HTML and you label your inputs and you have headings, it works regardless of whatever assistive technology or AT you use. Okay, so last but not least, some quick reminders and kind of inspiration about common pitfalls I've experienced and I've witnessed. I know in my early days of learning accessibility, I was the only person doing all the front end work. I had no tools, no know-how, no understanding. And although I was technically the lone wolf at my office, I was really thankful to find a community of people online who wrote about and shared their techniques. There was a community meetup that I went to. And so remember, you're not alone. There's a lot of great communities on Twitter, LinkedIn, locally, and more blogs and articles than I could even count to help you like really navigate this path forward. Another similar rabbit hole I fell into was focusing on perfection and holding up iterations of progress because I was worried it wasn't perfection. But you don't have to do that. As Dennis's presentation showed, Easy Chirp was something that grew and expanded and got better over time. And finally, one of the biggest pitfalls seen now is overusing ARIA. So ARIA is intended to really fill in some accessibility gaps that semantic HTML alone can't fill. We could all write a novel on this, but just know that it isn't something that can quickly be used as a Band-Aid to really fix accessibility issues. It's more of a precision tool for people who are working on fine-tuning their practice and extending experiences beyond what HTML can do. So the resources that I promised are here. If you like to watch more video, there's AlleyCast with Rob Dotson. Using ARIA, there's a free Udacity web course. Thanks, Natalie Patrice, for pointing that out. The accessibility object model, we've got DeQ's keyboard shortcuts for NVDA and VoiceOver. There's WebAIM keyboard accessibility, lots of really good stuff. And then again, that community that I talked about, I'm part of it. I'm on Twitter and it's at Jenny Ann Lynn, JenniAynnn. LinkedIn is another place, Jennifer-Smith-PCWA. I'm here with a lot of other people, and we just want to help you hone your practice and get better, and we're all moving in the same direction. All right. I'm happy to answer questions if there are any. I wasn't able to monitor the chat.
No questions have come in yet, Jen.
There is a comment though. Erin says, "Hey, lady." So Erin is here. I knew she was registered, but I wasn't sure if she was on. Well, thanks, Jen. I'm glad this worked out. It's cool to have you in to this Oklahoma-based event, given that you got your start here, and your story is it's much like, well, I mean, most of us, I think, in the community. I know it's mine. Taking kind of a side door into the field, and then finding the community, the professional community, and being a part of it. It really is an amazing group. And that's one of the things that we try to do with this event, is to make sure that we tap some of the folks from Oklahoma into the broader accessibility community as well, because it is just an amazing group of people.
It is.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much.